Good morning, folks. Hope you're doing well today. Waking up to a very cold Saturday morning here, especially in the northern tier of the U.S. The wind chills approaching -50 today, -30, maybe -20 wind chills, negative teens. But you see the air temps are in the single digits here, where we have heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, and some rain into Texas here. Good morning. My name is Tim Ealer. Hope you're all doing well. Um, I'm a meteorologist, and I love what I'm doing here to convey information, especially about winter weather. I love winter weather, and I hope you get something out of this content. Like my video if you like it, subscribe, share with your friends, and let's get started here. Quite a lot to talk about today. We're going to go over the forecast, all the model guidance, short range models, and also talk about the future temps and how cold they're going to be. You can see how cold they are already. So let's get started. So these are the current hazards. It's incredible, isn't it? How much winter storm warnings are here? Um, ice storm warnings, which are quite rare in general. I haven't seen these in years, and just surrounded by winter weather advisories and up to the north, even into the New England winter storm watch. Just like 1/3 of the country is covered by this. So generally from New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Illinois, Indiana. I mean, you can name just about every state, exception of Florida here in the northern tier of the U.S. And they have different things going on here with the cold weather. So um, this is just the ice storm warning, winter storm watches, winter weather advisory, freeze warning down here, down south. Uh, I'm not sure what this one is down at the bottom. It must be a freeze watch or something like that. But even into New Mexico, we got winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. So incredible what's going on here. And even out west into California, we have some different dense fog with stagnant area, just with no real flow coming on shore to mix up the atmosphere. So it's kind of crazy, isn't it? So this is another way to look at the advisories here. For some reason on pivotal weather, it doesn't show the cold weather portion. So even here on weather-wise, you got the winter storm warnings here, but it doesn't show the watches, and I'm trying to figure out why. But I pulled this up to show the different cold weather products, cold weather advisories here. Extreme cold warning up to the north here, and -50 potential wind chills. All right, and so 35 below, um, here up into 33 below in the northeast, 10 below, just depending where you're at. You have cold weather advisories. It's a little less critical, but you see up into North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, up in the northeast and parts of Pennsylvania. Uh, Extreme cold warning. Nebraska, South Dakota, Montana, Wisconsin, parts of Illinois, Kentucky, just all over the place. Right, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and this is going to expand southward after this the system moves through in the coming days. So, and you have some other advisories below here, extreme cold warning, winter, with winter storm warnings underneath it. So, multiple warnings here. So it's just really crazy right now with all the stuff going on. As far as the local area here in Georgia, we have ice storm warnings for most of North Georgia, um, generally along the line just south of Atlanta. I think this is I-20 here, right? And then winter weather advisory a little further south, just to the north of Macon, Monroe County, and things, and these counties here. So that doesn't mean we might not get some ice overnight night tonight, briefly in central Georgia, but we're right on the line here. So, yeah, so when will conditions get bad? So, this is a graphic showing the from National Weather Service showing when they think the conditions will be the worst up here in northwest Georgia. Northeast Georgia here are the worst, right? 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Athens, Northeast Georgia, Atlanta area. Mostly on Saturday, Saturday night through Sunday evening, and then with the refreezing possible here, depending on if we get melting, things like that. We'll see what happens, but temperature is going to be cold Sunday night into Monday, so anything left on the ground will refreeze here. And this graphic again is important to look at with if you lose power, check on the elderly, make sure you have sufficient supplies, make sure your phones are charged. Do you have access to food, warm, and water and warmth? And what are you going to do if the heat goes out for several days, stays cold, which it will? So, um, so very important. It's also important to check on your pets too here. So today, expected you see the difference in temperatures here, upper 30s to the north, low 50s, upper 50s further south, rain chances highest up north here. Tonight, see the temperatures getting in the low to mid 20s up here in northeast Georgia, all the points west here, even making it down to freezing. So if we do get precip in this area here, potential exists for some frozen precip briefly to accumulate on maybe some elevated surfaces and things. But there's a steep temperature gradient here along this, so whether this sets up, we'll see what happens. We just don't know that yet, but more confidence as we get further north, especially in the Atlanta area, and like where we showed you that ice and winter weather advisory line is the most confidence right now. Tomorrow, so temperature is going to start off relatively mild in the south central Georgia, but eventually it's going to get cold in the whole state. And Monday night, right? So this is Sunday, okay? So it's possible the temps could get higher than this in the Macon area. It's kind of uncertain right now how far north the warmest temps will be. You can see here, even up in the Gainesville, maybe getting above freezing at some point, but still uncertain about how far north and how warm the temperatures will get. Some brief warm up here may be possible with rain chances near 100%. North and central Georgia. Point south, less likely to get precip here. So the key messages for the major January winter storm continue here, and this has been talked about for quite some time, and we've talked about this some already. But 180 million Americans are going to be impacted by this. Snowfall totals exceeding 1 foot in certain areas. Significant sleet, 1 to 3 inches, and catastrophic ice accumulation, especially in the purple areas here, even in the dark reds. So then after that, we got the cold weather coming through, which is just going to make recovery a lot more difficult. It's almost impossible here. Right. So the extreme cold, and we just talked about the winter weather, but then the extreme cold falls behind it and continues into February, right? So we're not going to have a lot of time to recover from this, especially, well, not a lot of good weather to recover from it. Although in the south, it'll get above freezing. So after a few days, we'll be able to get stuff back running again. But in areas in the central U.S., in the plains, and even in the Northeast, it's going to take a while to recover from this because you can't have people out there working in sub-zero wind chills here. And right now they got -50 wind chills going on up here into the northern U.S. So, there's no way you go out on that. So just be careful today, guys. Sub-zero wind chills reach as far south as the Southern Plains, Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, and Mid-Atlantic into early next week. So um, you can see the highest risk here is for the coldest temps, the 31st through the 1st here of February. So this is just going to continue. See, risk of hazardous cold, January 31st through the 4th. As far as day 3 to 7 U.S. hazards, we know it's going to be cold here, and this just reminds us of that. It reminds us that the heavy snow is going to be persistent into Monday here in the Northeast, right? But this is for the short term, okay, 26th to the 30th, the 26th up here in the northern U.S. and the central U.S. into the southern U.S., and then points eastward here, 26th to the 30th, right? 27th to the 30th up north here. So also Alaska, high winds and hazardous cold the 26th to the 28th, and heavy precip the 27th to the 28th here as well. So this is the 15-day temperature outlook from the European Ensemble, right, for central Georgia. So projecting to get, at least with this model, which contains 50 members, pretty confident it'll be between 60 and 70 for a high tomorrow. And we discussed that with the temperature outlook for Sunday, right? But we'll just have to see if this ends up being correct or not. But what's really certainty here is how cold it's going to get. 19 on Tuesday morning, Sunday night to Monday morning. Going to get below freezing for a long period here, all the way through February 4th. Still below normal for lows, even into the first week of February. Possibly trending to near normal temperatures for highs. It's going to be warming up some, but still a long stretch of cold weather ahead here, at least according to this. We switch to the GFS, which consists of 30 members. It also agrees how warm it's going to get in this area on Sunday, and then see the cold temps continuing all through the period here, with highs below normal for a good portion of the period, maybe trending towards above normal as we get towards the end of the period here. So what we got going on here? This is a HRRR model, a really good short range model here. This is starting at 6 a.m. here. Let's see if I have a recent run. This is the latest run, okay? This shows the freezing rain, sleet, a lot of sleet here. Not a lot of freezing rain. And some heavy rain down here into southeastern Texas. Very cold temperatures up to the north here with snow ongoing. You see right along this boundary here where the heavy snow is, right? You back this up a few frames. It's only one frame here. Anyway, move through time. This run isn't even done yet. So this initial push moves through parts of Oklahoma and into Arkansas and parts of Missouri here, and parts of Mississippi, Louisiana, and northern Alabama here. And then the second half of this event moves through. You have a lull here with the initial push. All right. Let me go back a little bit further here. There's one run back, all right. Pretty much the same thing at this point. Interesting that it shows the expansion. Let me go back here one run. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I keep mixing up the sleet and the freezing rain. I don't know why. Sorry, guys. A heavy swath of did it again. Sleet here between where the freezing rain and the snow is. Okay, no, I didn't mix it up. This is what happens, right? We have a pretty expansive area of sleet. And according to this run, the boundary layer gets a lot less deep here. And there's a thin area here where we could have heavy sleet and heavy snow here, right? Wherever this boundary sets up, and this is 11 a.m. So a few hours from now, okay, moves further to the north here. We could have some heavy sleet accumulations there where the frontogenesis is occurring, right? And you get a little more push here further out, right? And this is go back one run, okay? Then you get an even more intense push of snow here into parts of Texas. And this is 10 p.m. tonight. Go back a few, right? Expansive freezing rain, maybe some heavy freezing rain here in certain areas, okay? And then a pretty intense band of sleet here, and then snow on the northern periphery of it, okay? Temps are extremely cold up here to the north. So wherever snow does fall, the ratios are going to be very high. And so the totals, right? So everyone wants to know what totals are going to be. My cat just jumped up here. So snow total, I'm just, cat, what are you doing? Anyway, um, yeah, so this is through 10 p.m. tonight, right? If we go back a little bit longer with the extended, I'm just showing this for total perspective, right? So we talked about the totals here, but I just want to show this on the map. We switch it to freezing rain. This is overdone here. This isn't possible. All right, so I show this for reference only. If we go to the National Blend of Models real quickly, if I can get to it, come on guys, National Blend of Models, um, surface ice. This is more realistic here, okay? Quarter inch to an inch of ice. So, and this may be a little bit underdone, right? But this is more realistic from the totals. If we move to the south with this, let's go. Where are we here? East. There we go. So ice totals. You can see where this is. Move through time with this through the 31st. This is the NBM parallel, right? So yeah. So Sunday and the Monday. You see the highest amounts up here as well. Again, into northeast Georgia as well. It looks like the higher terrain there for the ice accumulation, and we talked about that already. So yeah, gonna be very interesting as we move forward with this. So when looking at the expected snowfall here, we have this graphic that a 66-hour accumulation graphic that shows a wide swath of snow here, all the way from the you know, New Mexico through Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and into the Northeast here, where snowfall totals could reach 20 inches here, depending where you're at, right? So, and point south will get less, but when you hover it over here, you can see the different amounts here. It's almost impossible to go over every location here, but hopefully you know where you are, and you're looking at the local weather forecast here as well. You zoom in a little bit, you can see the different amounts. Say I click on White Plains here. It tells me the high end possibility, low end expected. So likely between 12 to 16 inches of snow here in the coming days. So quite impressive snow totals with this storm in different areas. In parts of Missouri, where this orange area is, 13, 14 inches possibly here. Evansville area, let's see, zoom out, zoom in. So yeah, right on the border of Indiana, Illinois, and Kentucky here, but a wider area. You can see this area here in the Northeast, quite an expansive area. Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, Maine. All right, so if we take this back a minute, we can look at the time frame here of the heaviest snow, right? So in the Colorado Rockies is getting in on it, New Mexico, parts of Oklahoma, and you can see this is the initial round, right? Not too heavy here, maybe 6 inches here in parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri through Sunday. And over time, you can see how it expands eastward here, West Virginia, Kentucky, and we're going to move this forward. See, this is a 24-hour accumulation, right? So 8 inches, and the highest amounts move to the northeast here. So you can see when this really starts accumulating between in the northeast between Monday, Sunday, and Monday, right? As it moves to the north and moves out. So we'll be dealing with this through Tuesday and into Wednesday here. And this is just this is just a snowfall. So next we'll go over the freezing rain amounts. So this is a graphic showing the expected amount of ice, freezing rain from the National Weather Service, which excludes sleet. And I want to remind people that the snowfall forecast on this map that I just showed includes sleet. So there could be some sleet mixed in depending where you're at. So that could cut back on snowfall totals a little bit. But yeah, so geez, man, I'm telling you, 1.5 inches, 1.25 inch of ice here on surfaces in parts of Mississippi, um, Louisiana, just to the west of Starkville, right? There's a sharp cutoff here. Uh, zoom in a little bit, just to the east of Monroe, but even in surrounding areas here, up to an inch. So this is going to be incredibly bad as we move through this event. Move further to the east here, even in Tennessee, half inch is going to be crippling. Northeast Georgia, expectation of a 1 inch here. If you click on one of these graphics here, low end, quarter of an inch, which still can be very impactful. High end over an inch with expected point almost a little over 3/4 of an inch, right? If we move to the north here, the icing amounts get less and then generally drop off as we get into northern New Jersey. But even into parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, we could have an half an inch to a quarter inch of ice here. And even into parts of central Georgia, we could get some. And that's not excluding my area, Warner Robins. We could get some possibly freezing rain for a few hours uh, tonight into tomorrow morning, but not likely to last very long. Okay, so so yeah, this is very impactful here, and I'm really concerned about these folks in the purple areas. So we'll go through the timeline here. So now through Sunday, there's a wide swath of freezing rain, generally from Texas to parts of Mississippi here into Tennessee and North Georgia, right? Move through time here. This is a 24-hour accumulation. See the purple starts showing up on the map here in the northeast Georgia, right? But impactful in a large area. It's just incredible the amounts here. We go through time with this. Of course, the higher amounts in the 24-hour period move to the northeast into Kentucky, West Virginia, Maryland. Still ongoing here in Mississippi, right? At this point, they're recovering from this with some lingering ice and maybe into northeast Georgia. But see the highest amounts of North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, and parts of New Jersey, and then still into North Carolina and Virginia here, and parts of Maryland and New Jersey. So long duration event here. Like we keep saying that, and I don't remember in my memory of seeing this kind of ice storm. So we'll go over what's driving that, but which is incredibly bad. I'm sorry to say this, but it is. So here are some graphics showing the the weather forecast offices, excuse me, for the ice accumulation. And I wanted to bring these up because these are the most impacted areas, right? So even in southwestern Louisiana, forecasting parts of Louisiana expecting, well, anyway, you're expecting 3/4 of an inch to a half an inch here. And moving to the north, you see 3/4 of an inch up to an inch. And towards Greenwood, um, Greenville, over an inch of ice expected here. So, and this is through Monday at 6 p.m. This is a graphic from the Jackson, Mississippi Weather Forecast Office, forecasting again an inch of ice here, and maybe 1 1/4 inch of ice in Greenwood, an inch near Yazoo City, Vicksburg, Tupelo, over an inch of ice. So, very impactful event, as we keep saying here. Yeah, it's going to be impossible for me to like read off every city, but you can see where you're at here. So you probably already know what's going on here, but I wanted to present this graphic anyway for anybody who doesn't know um, where to get this. Moving to the north here, north of Greenwood, the ice accumulations fall off, but not a lot, right? All the way up to Nashville, um, expecting into Tennessee here. This is a Memphis, Tennessee forecast office. Half an inch of ice points to the southwest towards Tupelo. You're getting into an inch here. So highly impactful travel, losing power, things like that. So yeah, for the Atlanta, Georgia forecast office. So we talked about this, in the broader scope here, but you can see generally from Jasper to Blairsville towards Franklin, Tennessee, and along the South Carolina, looks like Tennessee border here, expecting the highest amounts of frozen precip. Even the Atlanta area, maybe a 1/4 inch, depending on where you're at here. Heat Island may protect the Atlanta metro a little bit, but the overall pretty impactful. Northwest Georgia, there's this swath here, maybe in the higher terrain that may get some higher amounts. I'm not sure what this is down here, but in parts of Alabama. But you go point south here, of course, not nearly as much. Even Augusta potential exists for a 1/4 inch of ice here, right on the edge of where the heaviest ice really starts to accumulate here. It's severe weather, right? In the area where we have the heaviest sleet going on, we could have some thunder and lightning here. So, in points of the south, we could have in the warmer sector some thunderstorms as well today. So, quite a dynamic system moving through here. Now, tomorrow, the severe risk is a little greater here along the Gulf Coast up into southeast Alabama, into parts of central Georgia, southwest Georgia, and southeast Georgia, and along the Gulf Coast here. And we have tornado risk is a little further south, a marginal tornado risk here. Um, this may be pushed a little far to the north depending on how the environment evolves, right? And wind is a bigger, wider threat here, although still marginal wind risks, right? So, meaning like 50 knots or greater when 25 miles of a point, okay? So let's be mindful of that. You wouldn't expect this time of year, but the warmer temps are pushing further to the north here and along these boundaries, and where a cold front moves through, we could have high winds tomorrow. So let's just be mindful of this, okay? So what I'm going to do here is review the temperature profiles for the South, especially since I have friends that live here and I live here. Very concerned about where the cold temps are going to be, things like that. And this is the NAM, 3 kilometer here. It goes out 60 hours, right? Pretty sure. Yeah, 60, right? So to start with, the coldest temps are in northwest Georgia, the rest of the state. Um, you can see where they have northerly winds, right? Building in here. You can see the wind barbs, right? So you see the 32-degree line, this white line here, pushing the south, okay? As we get towards the end of today, the cold air really starts pushing down east of the not Rockies, Appalachians. You can see a push of warmer air to the north here already into parts of Alabama, okay? Cold air hangs on in northern Georgia, and then of course in the Appalachians here, right? This is where we got our big problem here in northeast Georgia, with the cold temps. We start getting freezing rain here, okay? And it pushes a little bit further out. This is Sunday morning. The temps are still, the wedge is still building in here, okay? At least according to this model, right? So you see the different lines here. They depict, you get your freezing line and temperatures, right? Even into middle Georgia, we're talking near freezing, okay, but not quite there. So this isn't exact, right? But the freezing line pushes pretty far to the east and south, but doesn't make it much further than this. So we're talking Monday morning sometime. Let's see, that's 13Z. So, and this is 06Z run. I had to, maybe we'll get a new run in a little bit later, right? And you see what happens here. He wants to start pushing the freezing temps further to the north here. The cold front pushing through here. Here's your 32-degree line. See how the temps really warm up here. And it looks like a surface flow is translating to the east here with this, right? So because it's moving so closely here to this area, I get the feeling this is 1Z. So this is around late in the evening. So temperatures at the surface could get in the 60s here, especially along the Gulf Coast. All right, so if these temps push further to the north here, and we have this boundary here, right? Wherever this boundary is, there's more vorticity in the atmosphere. So this gives us more potential for severe weather. Although the tornado risk a little further to the south, but along where this cold front pushes through, and I'll switch to that next. The radar depiction of this, but you see the strong southerly flow ahead here, and kind of just mixed bag of winds here with this surface low maybe on the lee side of the Appalachians, and then the cold air pushes through overnight with cold air advection after that. So let's switch over to the simulated reflectivity. You see this strong area, this cold front pushing through. Kind of loses its punch up north here, but and this is the NAM depiction of it, right? So pretty intense convective banding here as we go through here. So this is overnight tonight. I wouldn't be surprised we have some high winds here. Now look at wind gusts associated with this. Yeah, I mean 30, 40, well, 4 knots, 40 gusts, 40 knots. So Um, the potential exists, and this is why they outline this risk here for high winds with this, right? Look at this right here. So you see the sharp cutoff here, that in this vorticity maximum. I I have to look at the upper levels with this, but you see what I'm talking about here, with winds. So I'm not trying to over dramatize the severe threat here, but it's definitely not zero. Okay, so we need to be mindful of that. All right, and you see after that, um, the winds come out from the northwest, and that's it, right, in the higher terrain. Okay, the high winds. So when we look at severe parameters, we look at helicity in the atmosphere at the lower levels and mid levels. This is 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative helicity values. And you see how they are very high here in this area. We have your highest temperatures and your helicity, right, and your spin in the atmosphere. They kind of wane over time as it moves to the east, right, as a cold front kind of gets rid of some of that energy. The cold front just wipes out that energy in the atmosphere. But you can almost make out, you see that line here, kind of an interesting look here, right? This is, you know, we got winds from the south, move through time with this, more winds from the west. This is at 0 to 1 kilometer storm velocity, 10-meter winds. So, yeah, kind of interesting scenario here. So, you see the northwest flow kind of westerly here, 10 meters, and northwest flow takes over. So we'll switch to the 0 to 3 kilometer storm relative velocity. Still quite high here, just in this corridor, this narrow corridor. So you definitely have the potential for a brief spin-up tornado in these areas. Okay, we'll have to see how this evolves and whether these temperatures are actually realized in the coming up till this event tomorrow. Now what I'm doing here is comparing I'm looking at the HRR model, which is a good short range model as well. It wants to bring the helicity values a little further to the north here and a wider value here. So 180, 150 meters squared per second square. So you get further south here, the helicity values in this area are even higher, right? So anywhere you see these values, potential for severe weather exists, all right? So, and this is switching to the 0 to 3 kilometer, okay? Same kind of look here. Quite high amounts, like right in this area. Interesting look here. So we can also look at supercell composite, which shows the potential for supercells in this area as well. And it can really explain why the SPC has this area outlooked, right? I mean, so look at the surface. Let's go to a simulated reflectivity with the HRR. It wants to bring a pretty intense band of weather through our area overnight, a little bit earlier than the NAM. So, and it has some helicity swaths here. You see that circle there? Some convective elements here really maybe want to get going within the line. So we're gonna, hate to say it, but we're gonna have to be in the outlook for this severe weather tomorrow. But in the short term, the potential does exist for some icing here, but low potential for middle Georgia. Further to the northeast, of course. And listen to your National Weather Service office and get the latest here. So, for my friends in the Northeast corridor, including my brother who lives up here in New York, right? We're going to start this off on analyzing starting Saturday evening, right? You see snow and freezing rain and sleet pushing in from the southwest. It really intensifies moving through the northeast here in mid-Atlantic. Potentially heavy sleet in this corridor here, right? Heavy snow moving into the northeast on Sunday, okay? Surface low developing offshore here. Heavy band of sleet here. Now, if this sleet pushes far north like this model depicts, it could limit snowfall amounts, okay? But at least according to this, well, yeah, I mean, right along this boundary here is where the heaviest um, snow could be. So, it's quite a northward push here. You see the surface low, and let's take a sounding here real quick at this area. Take a look at what it looks like real quick. So it's showing snow, right? And very cold at the surface. Like, yeah, very cold. And the quite a deep let's see, dendritic growth layer. Anyway, plenty of area for snow to, it should be from -12 to -17 C. Saturated profile here with a warm nose, trying to push in aloft here. This may be a little bit overdone with the NAM, right? So see if we can get the HRR. It's not about the wrap. Let me see. You get it. Never mind. It doesn't show anything. Anyway, see the profile here, right? So I think this model wants to bring a warm nose in too far. Switch to HRR. It keeps the warm nose a little further to the south here. All right, so quite a sharp cutoff, at least with the really heavy snow here. But so wherever this sets up, we're gonna see the heaviest amounts. So we look at the snow totals here, right? You see the cutoff here, right? Snow total move to the north here. This may be a little bit overdone, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get this much. So, like I said, there's going to be a sharp cutoff here where the sleet falls. So wherever you have sleet, it's going to be less accumulation. So we keep an eye on that as well. But a very impactful event nonetheless, and potential does exist to almost 20 inches of snow. So as far as excessive rainfall here, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall here in parts of southeast Texas here, right? Potential for a heavy swath here. Um, and this is just total precip, right? This is rain, and this is likely freezing rain up here. So we go back. Let's get out of this and go back to excessive rainfall here. All right, for day 2. You see generally along into Mississippi, Alabama, parts of North Georgia as well, Chattanooga, Murphy, but this could be in central Alabama, likely rain. Could have some heavy rain here. This doesn't really distinguish that. It's just total precip amount. So could have a mix of accumulation from freezing rain and rain here. So be mindful of that. Of course, we know where the freezing rain is going to be, but but yeah. So when you look at risk of heavy precip here in the day to 14 outlook, the 31st to the 6th. Only expecting heavy precip in the southern Alaska. No heavy snow expected here during this period, at least right now. This could change. High winds possible here in the northeast, into mid-Atlantic and into southern Alaska and along the Great Lakes. High risk of really high risk of below normal temperatures here in the south and into mid-Atlantic and into the lower Mississippi Valley, and a larger risk encompassing generally the same areas all the way down almost into southern Florida here, the 31st through the 4th. So less confidence in the wider area, but still there nonetheless. So this is going to be a long duration event here. So we kind of just talked about this already. We have the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and that encompasses the same time frame that on the 8 to 14 day hazard. So we know the temperatures are going to be below normal out east here, out west above normal, and near normal in between, near normal to above, and parts of Alaska and all of Hawaii. And this is part of this high pressure really expanding here to the north and bringing down colder air for the eastern U.S. Excuse me, and near normal temps up to the northwest here. Now the 6 to 10 today, 6 to 10 day precip outlook. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Below normal chances of precip in a good portion of the U.S., likely because of high pressure suppressing precip further to the south and further to the north here, right? With near normal to above normal chances here in the green areas and the gray areas. Into Alaska, near normal to above, near normal to below, depending on where you're at in Hawaii, and near normal in the Aleutian Island chain. So moving on, the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, colder temps are, the highest probability is further to the south and east here. When near normal, maybe in the north, into New England here, but near normal means pretty cold still, right? Above normal temperatures are looking to push in the northern U.S., which is an interesting evolution of this, right? And still maintain near normal to above in Alaska, at Hawaii here, near normal in the Aleutian Island chain. When we go over to precip here, still a swath of below normal precip in the central part of the U.S. all the way out into the west coast here. With on the periphery, we're still maintaining this near normal to above normal precip chances depending where you're at. Near normal to above in Hawaii as far as precip goes, and below to near normal is maintained here in Hawaii. Did I say Hawaii for Alaska? Alaska near normal to above, and Aleutian Islands near normal as well. Moving on to the longer period outlook for the week 3 to 4 temperature outlook. The Climate Prediction Center is maintaining below normal temps in the east here, above normal temps out west, and equal changes in between to near normal into parts of Texas and New England here, below to equal to above, depending where you're at in Alaska, above in Hawaii, and above to equal chances in the Aleutian Island chain. And where we're projected to be drier than normal, it looks like we're equaling out these chances in most of the U.S. During this period, the 7th through the 20th, and above normal up here in the northern U.S. Not the northwest here, but anyway, you can see not a lot of confidence either way for a good portion of the U.S. Equal to above in Alaska, above in Hawaii, and equal chances to the Aleutian Island chain. So this weekend is going to be a very difficult weekend for everybody, and for forecasters too, to kind of determine where the heaviest precip's going to be. But the people out in the, out there, everybody out there that I'm talking to today, be safe out there. Mind your local advisories, warnings, watches, things like that, and you know, be careful out there. Be safe, and we all want people to be okay. Try to convey the best weather advice possible. Hope you all have a great day, and God bless.